Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, September 26th. A cool morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. The beat goes on, however. The nice weather pattern will continue today and tomorrow and right through the upcoming weekend. There will be some patchy clouds around. There's some clouds right around the I-95 corridor this morning, and certainly there can be some patchy clouds over the next couple of days. But in general, the nice pattern with comfortable temperatures and humidity levels will continue for the next several days. There will be an intensifying low-pressure system off the East Coast this weekend, but it continues to look like it'll stay far enough offshore to prevent any problems here in the early part of next week in the northeastern U.S. Well, I thought we'd start off this morning with the latest NOAA weather warnings chart just to see what time of the year we are in, because it certainly is showing some signs of the upcoming months as we approach the winter season. First of all, way out in the west, we have lots of heavy snow warnings. We have winter storm watches and warnings in anywhere from western part of Montana across Idaho, and actually all of this should extend into Wyoming. There's certainly a chance for several inches of snow over the next 12 to 24 hours in some of the Rockies, especially I think centered over Wyoming in the next 12 or 24 hours. Another, just a step to the south here, we have some freeze and frost advisories across the northern part of Nevada. Basically, cold air is moving into this part of the country over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Denver will hang on to warm conditions today, way up in the upper 70s, but by Friday we'll struggle to pass 60 degrees, perhaps the low 60s on Friday in Denver. Colder air moving into the west with some of the first accumulating snows of the season. Meanwhile, back east we have lots of fog advisories here across the Ohio Valley. There certainly can be some patchy fog here in the Mid-Atlantic region any of the next couple of nights, late at night, early morning. This will occur with increasing frequency as we go through the rest of September and through the month of October. The combination of still somewhat mild temperatures and increasingly long nights really help to generate quite a bit of fog as we approach the middle part of the fall season. Well, here's the latest U.S. surface map. High pressure continues to dominate the scene here in the Mid-Atlantic region, New England, over the Great Lakes. Continuation of a nice weather pattern with comfortable temperatures and humidity for this time of the year. There certainly are some patches of clouds, however, but it looks like rain-free conditions will continue right through the upcoming weekend, but there can be periods of clouds over the next couple of days. Meanwhile, out in the west, here's that cold front getting its act together out in the interior part of the west. Colder air pouring in. There will be some accumulating snow over the next 12 to 24 hours in this region right in here, centered on Wyoming, where several inches can fall in the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Still warm today in Denver, but the colder air moves in by tomorrow with highs much cooler tomorrow, probably 15 degrees cooler tomorrow afternoon compared to this afternoon in and around the Denver metro region. Here's the latest infrared satellite loop from the Wisconsin website. And again, lots of clouds this morning in and around the I-95 corridor between D.C. and Baltimore, Philadelphia especially. And there's even a little bit of rotation in this cloudy pattern. Certainly more clouds and sun in some mid-Atlantic locations. Otherwise, comfortable conditions for the day. Lots of thick clouds out here in the interior part of the west. And again, colder air is pouring in. Some accumulating snow over the next 12 to 24 hours in some of the higher elevations of Idaho and Wyoming, where several inches can fall over the next day or so. Well, before we take a look at some surface forecast maps for the upcoming weekend, let's take a look at the current 500 millibar chart. This is, again, the middle part, upper part of the atmosphere, about 18,000 feet or so, and it's a very blocky pattern, a high amplitude flow with the general flow going up and then down and then up and then down and then up again. And this leads to what we've talked about here before as a blocking pattern. In this case, it's kind of shaped like the Greek letter omega, so this is dubbed by meteorologists as a typical omega block. And when you have this kind of a pattern in the upper part of the atmosphere, surface systems tend to move very slowly. And if you're stuck in a nice weather pattern, you could be lucky to be stuck in that pattern for several days, as is the case here in the northeastern part of the country. But out in the west, they are stuck with a deep upper level trough in the upper part of the atmosphere. Colder air is pouring in at the surface, and a continuation of some precipitation, as has been the case over the past couple of days in the Rockies. And it's cold enough for snow, accumulating snow over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. Well, let's take a look at some computer model forecast maps. This is from last night's Zero-Z GFS, Global Forecast System Computer Forecast Model. And we're looking at tomorrow morning surface map forecast. That's Friday morning, and then we'll look at Saturday morning and Sunday morning. As of tomorrow morning, still high pressure just sitting here in the northeastern part of the country. Again, with that omega block type pattern in the upper part of the atmosphere, this surface high has been rather stationary over the past couple of days, and it looks like it'll hang on to control our nice weather here in the northeast right through the upcoming weekend. Meanwhile, some precipitation hangs around the Rockies, and especially Wyoming, I think, will have several inches of snow over the next day or so. Colder air pouring in into that part of the country. Much colder tomorrow in Denver compared to today. But in the northeast, just a continuation of the nice weather pattern. Let's now jump ahead to Saturday morning's forecast map. As of Saturday morning, the high pressure still sitting right on top of the region. Nice weather pattern continues. Now, again, we talked at the onset about the possibilities from late night and early morning patchy fog as we get longer and longer nights. So that certainly can happen over the next couple of nights in the suburban areas, especially of the I-95 corridor. So some patchy fog possible late tonight and again late tomorrow night. And again, patchy clouds during the day is certainly a possibility and is occurring right now in and around the I-95 corridor. Meanwhile, as of Saturday morning, that strong cool front is in the center part of the country, but you'll see in the next map, this tends to weaken as it kind of butts up against this very strong high pressure system here in the northeast. In fact, let's now jump ahead to Sunday morning. And here it is, the forecast map for Sunday morning. High pressure still hanging on, should provide another nice day here in the Mid-Atlantic region on Sunday, even though part of it's starting to pull off the northeast coast. Low pressure out over the Atlantic should stay far enough offshore to prevent any problems here in the northeastern U.S. In the Sunday night, Monday time frame. And here's that cool frontal system. It will continue to tend to weaken as it approaches the East Coast. By the time it reaches the eastern states early next week, it's likely the precipitation pattern is likely to basically dry up, fall apart as it weakens on its way to the east. So nothing but a nice weather pattern, pretty much rain-free right through the upcoming weekend here in the Mid-Atlantic region with comfortable temperatures and humidity levels. That's it for now for the SIWeather.com. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.